Thursday, May 28th is today, 2026. Good morning, everyone. Yesterday, this video was trending. The video posted by Fox News, where the Secretary of War, Hegseth, revealed that the President Trump ordered the Pentagon to prioritize protecting Nigerian Christians targeted by ISIS, and saying the mission quietly led to the killing of ISIS second in command in Nigeria. What so many people did not understand about this news is that Trump is not just mandating him to go and do it. He is talking about what Trump told him. So Trump has given him the mandate last year, not now, to do it. So I have a problem, a little problem, a challenge on how the man is doing the work that Trump asked him to do. He went on to say that the U.S. intelligence gathered during the operation helped led to the death of hundreds of ISIS fighters tied to attacks on Christians and threats against the United States homeland. And he said, in quote, "There is a lot of things we do that the media pays attention to, and a lot of things that the president empowers the department to do on behalf of the American people that he deserves great credit for." Now, this is the video.
I just want to note one more thing to give you a sense of how committed this president is. Maybe a year ago, he heard the call of Nigerian Christians who were being targeted and killed by ISIS in Nigeria. And he said, "Pete, I want the War Department to focus on ensuring that we do everything we can to protect those Christians." Partnerships like that can take time behind the scenes, but he never wavered on it. And we got the assets there, and over the last month, and there hasn't been much coverage of this, we killed ISIS #2 in Nigeria, who is most responsible for killing Christians and trying to target the U.S. homeland, and have since, because of the intel we gathered, killed hundreds of ISIS members who were targeting and killing Christians in Nigeria, creating a whole new opportunity there. So there's a lot of things we do that the media pays attention to, and a lot of things that the president empowers the department to do on behalf of the American people that he deserves great credit for.
So a lot of people were so happy in the sense that they are believing that, oh, Trump is just mandating the Secretary of War to go to Nigeria and fight the war and fight the Boko Haram and fight the ISIS and so on and so forth. That is not it. This is not just a breaking news. It is what Trump told him. You know, I made a video that time that Trump has mandated the Department of War to carry out such actions and so on and so forth. But what so many people are not considering is the nature at which the US is doing what they are doing. I so much appreciate Trump's concern to what is going on in Nigeria. I appreciate whatever Trump is doing. I appreciate US. US is not Nigeria. That is it's a different country entirely. So they themselves having interest to help Nigeria is even something that we should appreciate. Yeah. After all, nobody is sending you. Is it not China group, the Nigerian army arrested before yesterday, who are funding terrorism? That is not to say that under Obama, that America did not fund terrorism, but this is under Trump. So what I'm trying to say is that if you see any foreign country who have the interest to helping you to liberate or wipe away evil in your land, appreciate them. But what I'm trying to say again is this. They are fighting ISIS, eliminating them. Very good, kudos. But that is not the solution. That one will not even stop the attack that is going on. Because these people have Nigeria Terrorist Association, NTA. And this Nigeria Terrorist Association, ISIS is there, ISWAP is there, Al-Qaeda is there, Boko Haram is there, Mahmuda is there, Wundo is there, Lakurawa is there, Fulani Militia, which is the most dangerous of them all. More dangerous than ISIS and Boko Haram combined together are Fulani Militia. Why are these people so dangerous? Fulani Militia have intelligence. They gather intelligence. They have more links to people in government. By the way, one of them was arrested. Where is it not in Zamfara State? Someone who is an honorable member, still campaigning for House of Assembly. He picked form. They just arrested him. He's a terrorist. So, a lot of people who are in government are already in this. There is a big problem. So, Fulani Militia have a very a good structure with people in politics. And that makes them to be very, very dangerous. That makes them to be one of the most dangerous, terrorists we have in Nigeria right now. They go into your hospitals, they dress like good people. They go into your churches, they dress like newcomers. They go into high institutions. Some of them will buy printing form. I'm trying to tell you what is going on. Some of them will just go and buy form. They don't want to go to the schools. They are gathering intelligence. They are striking. They are pushing forward. They are doing everything they are doing. In that report, US also published that there are 30,000 Fulani militia who are terrorizing Nigeria. More or less, I don't know. But the people Tinubu and Buhari's coalition imported, they are more than 30,000. So maybe the people remaining now are 30,000 to say. I repeat again, if every Nigerian have gone, there is no how these people will defeat us. There is no how they will defeat a community. Even though let the 30,000 come only one state, they will be defeated. The only problem is that Nuhu Ribadu, all these people, they don't have interest in fighting insecurity. That is my own concept, not your concept. I know what I'm talking about. Because if they really want to fight insecurity, they should start with people who imported the insecurity you are fighting. Have you seen the mentality of a black man? Someone imported the terrorists and you are fighting the terrorists. Instead of you to hold someone who imported the terrorists, APC government imported terrorists into Nigeria. And everybody is kidnapping. You people will die one after the other. Not people who are against the evil, but people who are supporting the evil. Because that is always a reward for duplicity. When you are supporting evil with one hand, trying to pretend that you are good with the other hand. I think Jesus in the Bible explained this thing well when he said, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, because you wash outside the cup, but the inside the cup is dirty, like wolves with sheep clothing." You try to pretend that you are solving problems, blah, 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 blah. But inside you, you know you are sponsoring the terrorist. Anybody who hides something cannot help you to track what he or she hid. So it is time people should wake up. US, if this is the best, all they want to do, they have raised awareness to the world. I believe that is not all they want to do. US have plans for Nigeria, and people will see it. It will show. People will see it. It will show. Heads will roll. People that will cry will cry. People that will rejoice will rejoice. But we have to change our mentality that everything you receive should be additional. That is why we must prepare ourselves. Because even though Trump come now and Trump do whatever he want to do, he try. Is it not 4 years he will live there? And let me say 3 years he will live there. So if he live, what will happen? And you now see why I am not part of you people that believe that one angel will become president and things will change. No, I'm not part of you people. No. Because even though someone becomes president, is it not 4 years? The person will live there. What happened to my generation to come? What happened to 100 years to come? How do you people reason? We should think generational. This problem is a generational problem. I read the history about 200 years ago. A man called Osman Dan Fodio, if I'm even correct with the date. But far, far back, a man called Osman Dan Fodio came to Nigeria, came with jihad to conquer Nigeria. Because there is a prophecy that the end time prophet Mahdi, who will lead jihad all over the world, is going to come and rule from Nigeria. There is a prophecy on that. He came to conquer Nigeria. It didn't work. And everybody from across the world now are trooping into Nigeria. How come you people, we have about 10 to 11 terrorist organizations in Nigeria? Do you think it is normal? No. There is a plan to turn Nigeria into a terror stronghold. And DSS is aware of this. People in the high offices, they are aware of this. They know what is going on. So, that is it. People should not think that Trump is just mandating this man to go and do what he said yesterday. The man is saying that, yes, people should give Trump credit because Trump mandated, it's a past tense, he mandated them. That was last year, to go and protect Christians in Nigeria. So this issue now is no longer in Trump's hand. How is Hegseth doing this thing? The Secretary of War, how is he doing this thing? That is where the focus should be. Because Trump has mandated him, go and do this. Trump is not going to coordinate the war. No. He's the commander-in-chief, yes. But the Secretary of War is like Minister of Defense and National Security Advisor combined together. That is the power of the Secretary of War, the Department of War. So Trump has mandated them to go and do what they want to do. So the issue now is not only about Trump, but it's about the Department of War. So know where you channels your letters to, know where you channels your calls to, know where you channels whatever you want to send. Know where you channels it to. Not to Trump, but to the Secretary of War. But what I'm trying to say is that Nigerians should get ready to help themselves. nothing is going to change. Election will not help you. Okay, no problem. Do election. Do election you want to do. But don't be disappointed because no outcome will come out. No good outcome will come out. Am I negative? No, I'm not negative. It's like if I take my system now, if I take my laptop, I'm running a program. And the thing is, people should understand the meaning of system. When a system is programmed to run, you know the destination, you know what is going to happen. Unless you interrupt the system, and interrupting the system meaning shutting down Nigeria. That is the only way to interrupt the system. But nobody is ready to do that though. Nobody. So this is it. And I said thanks to Trump for having interest in this critical time. He also did the same thing during the time of Muhammadu Buhari. So this is not the first time. You know, I can see the picture of the video when he was telling Buhari, why are you killing Christians? That is man-to-man talk. Telling him, why are you killing Christians? So I know what Trump stands for. And I believe that as time goes on, they will do more things. But what we have to do is to help ourselves. We need to help ourselves more. Go and get your gun. Go and buy gun. Join vigilante, buy gun. Join vigilante, buy gun. You don't know what is coming. Oh. Don't say that you did not. Nobody even talk about it. Oh. Don't say that you were taking on aware. Oh. War is coming. Oh. These people, that war you see soldiers are fighting. Citizens, only citizens can fight it. Oh. Let me stop.
Flooding into Nigeria to launch Muhammad's prophesied final global jihad. I'm Mike Arnold. I've made 16 trips to Nigeria, to the front lines of the Christian genocide. I built schools for displaced children there, and I wrote Epicenter, the best-selling book about what's happening. Here's what you must know and what nobody is telling you. When you hear it, you will not be able to look at the situation in Nigeria or global security the same way again. 14 centuries ago, Muhammad prophesied that a descendant of his bloodline, called the Mahdi, would rise at the end of days, ride west under a black banner, defeat the Christian armies in a bloody jihad, and bring the whole earth under one global caliphate. For that to happen, the doctrine says, a purified Islamic platform must be ready, a launch pad. The Islamic world believes they have found it in Nigeria. In 1804, a direct blood descendant of Muhammad, named Usman Dan Fodio, launched a jihad in what is now northern Nigeria. He founded the Sokoto Caliphate explicitly as the launch pad for the coming of the Mahdi. He killed as many as 250,000 and displaced millions to establish the largest pre-colonial empire in Africa, bigger population than Pharaoh's Egypt, using the exact same tactics we see today: massacre, beheading, destruction, rape, displacement, and slavery, all while shouting Allahu Akbar. Usman Dan Fodio wrote more than 100 books. In them, he positioned himself as the Mujaddid, the renewer of his Islamic century, whose mission was to prepare the way for the coming of the Mahdi. He believed the Mahdi would appear in the caliphate he founded while his descendants sat on the throne. In other words, he saw himself as, effectively, the Islamic John the Baptist, making the way for their jihad messiah. At its peak, Dan Fodio's Sokoto Caliphate held as many as 2.5 million slaves. The British never conquered the caliphate. They cut a deal, indirect rule they called it, and let the caliphate stay in power as their enforcers. The Mahdi's launch pad survived. Muhammad's bloodline kept the throne. The British forcibly chained the vibrant, largely Christian, English-speaking South to this dark, feudal caliphate. Before they granted independence in 1960, the British federalized the vast oil reserves of the South, gave full control of the new federal government to the north, and cut a sweetheart deal to keep looting the nation's black gold. In 1967, a portion of the southeast, known as Biafra, at the time the fastest growing economic region on earth, sought independence from the caliphate's genocidal grip. In response, the northern warlords enforced a total blockade, declaring starvation a legitimate tool of war. They even shot down Red Cross aid planes. With Britain's full backing, in 30 months they starved to death some 3 million Biafrans, mainly children. The survivors were subdued, their wealth confiscated, a generation buried in mass graves. The history erased. Welcome to Nigeria, a so-called secular democracy where today's constitution was written by an Islamic dictator and mentions Sharia law and other Islamic terms 165 times. Christianity, 0. Sitting on that caliphate throne today is Sultan Saad Abubakar III, the 20th hereditary heir of Dan Fodio, and the spiritual head of West Africa's 108 million Muslims. One bloodline, Muhammad to Dan Fodio to today's Sultan. 1,400 years of prophecy, waiting. Today, Islamic fundamentalists around the world believe the moment has come. The Islamic State has declared Africa their divinely empowered land. The majority of global ISIS propaganda now comes out of Nigeria. Foreign fighters from the Middle East, North Africa, the Sahel, even Europe, are streaming in as religious pilgrims, not immigrants. They believe this is where Allah has called them to die for the fulfillment of Muhammad's prophecy. Sheikh Zakzaki is founder of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, an Iran proxy with 3 million members across Nigeria. His organization has an armed wing, documented weapons caches, and a history of mass mobilization. In February 2026, speaking in Nigeria's capital of Abuja, he declared, quote, "We are not merely waiting for the reappearance of the Imam Mahdi so that we may follow him afterwards. We are his followers today. Here's our global leader, and the affairs of the Ummah," that's the global Muslim community, "are already under his guidance." He also said, "Readiness before the reappearance is one of the central missions of the followers of the Imam Mahdi." Leading Islamic nations are actively helping build the Mahdi's launchpad in Nigeria today. Turkey just signed a major deal with President Bola Tinubu to train Nigerian troops using a group whose stated mission is to, quote, "pave the way for the long-awaited Mahdi" by helping the Islamic world achieve military superpower status. Iran, whose entire regime exists to hasten the Mahdi, has helped build Zakzaki's massive Islamic movement in Nigeria. Saudi Arabia spent decades building the doctrinal pipeline that birthed Boko Haram, and Qatar is the banker. The movement's toll is staggering. Since the founding of the caliphate, the start of this jihad, as many as 6 million Nigerians dead, 10 million enslaved, 25 million displaced. Since 2009 alone, 125,000 Christians slaughtered, along with 60,000 peaceful Muslims who refused to join the jihad, according to Nigeria's human rights group Intersociety. More than 20,000 churches destroyed. Today, 80% of all Christians killed worldwide for their faith are killed in Nigeria, most by jihadis from the same tribe, same caliphate, same prophecy, using the exact same tactics Dan Fodio used 222 years ago. Allahu Akbar. This is the longest running and longest active genocide on earth, a hidden Holocaust. Today in Nigeria, college girls are burned to death for praising Jesus on WhatsApp, and nobody is punished. Farmers are sentenced to death for defending themselves against terrorists. The Chinese are looting vast amounts of blood minerals and funding the jihad groups to clear the land, bribing the military and political leaders to look the other way. A prisoner of conscience named Nnamdi Kanu is serving a life sentence in Sokoto prison for truth spoken in England, illegally abducted from another country, and convicted under a law no longer on the books. Youth are executed in the street by federal police. Influencers who speak the truth are taken, tortured, and disappear. Thousands of men, women, and children are abducted, held in what can only be called concentration camps, many tortured and killed, in sophisticated kidnapping schemes pioneered by Boko Haram. Nigeria's 50 million school children are today being forcibly indoctrinated by the government. The man in control of the nation's curriculum, from preschool through college, is the world's leading expert on the Islamization of knowledge, and he considers it an intellectual jihad. As many as 10 to 12 million peaceful and productive Nigerians have been forced from their ancestral lands, living and dying in the most horrible conditions imaginable, denied recognition and aid by the government. Without intervention, it is expected that as many as 50% will be radicalized in the next few years. That's 5 to 6 million more jihadis. At the same time, the government gives captured terrorists room, board, and free classes, then releases them back to the community, rehabilitated. Many are even given government jobs. Statistics show most are likely to go right back to killing. On May 16th, President Trump killed the world's #2 ISIS commander in a strike on his compound in Nigeria. Nigeria's government had given this terrorist cover officially by declaring him dead 2 years ago. But strikes alone will not stop what the jihadis believe is the fulfillment of a 1,400-year-old prophecy. The caliphate has a 222-year head start. They are hijacking the nation's inevitable rise, on track to become the third most populous nation on earth by 2050, a top 5 oil producer with $1 trillion in mineral reserves, making more movies than Hollywood and dominating the streaming charts. They see Nigeria today as the greatest platform in history for the Mahdi to finally come and conquer the world. President Trump, you must act now. You have rightly called radical Islamic Jihad the greatest threat to our national security. Nigeria is the epicenter. You must know that working with the Nigerian government to end this genocide is like working with the Third Reich to end the Holocaust. You cannot stop this with sanctions. Jihadis are prepared to die for their cause. And China is more than happy to backfill any economic loss we impose on Tinubu's regime. Nigerian officials are today disarming and prosecuting defenders while arming the terrorists. They are rewarding captured terrorists while smothering millions of innocent displaced victims. They are violently suppressing truth speakers and spending millions to propagate lies in Washington. Top Tinubu administration officials have recently called the killers brothers and prodigal sons who deserve to be rehabilitated. The radicals have fully hijacked the school system with the philosophy of Boko Haram. As you have found in Iran, you cannot simply negotiate or partner with people who believe Allah has called them to fulfill a 1,400-year-old prophecy. And that is exactly what you are facing in Nigeria. But I believe you can flip Nigeria without a war. The people of Nigeria are incredible. They have unlimited potential. They rise to the top wherever they go in the world. Give them the chance to do that at home, and they will build an amazing nation, a real Wakanda, and America's greatest ally in Africa, a lighthouse of freedom in a dark part of the world. Just watch. President Tinubu is guilty of genocide today for his denial of recognition and aid to the displaced citizens. Indict him, arrest him. The Sokoto Caliphate must be investigated as a terrorist sponsor and dealt with accordingly. 2 centuries of history and overwhelming evidence demand it. Keep striking the terrorists, and you must know, the Fulani militia are killing most of the Christians today, not ISIS. Hit them too. Take them all out. Conduct a full census of the displaced. Interview them. They are eyewitnesses to genocide, and help coordinate the international aid they desperately need. Finally, ensure a free and fair referendum for a new constitution written by and for the people. Allow them to determine their own boundaries and watch them rise. Islamic jihadists today are finally recognized as the greatest threat to global security. Today, the Sokoto Caliphate in Nigeria is the only throne in the world that meets the classical Sunni requirements for a legitimate caliphate. And it was built explicitly to be the platform for the prophesied Mahdi, the launch pad for the final jihad to conquer the world. This is the epicenter. If we do not fight this fight in Nigeria today, we will fight it here in our own backyard tomorrow.